It's about 9 p.m. on Saturday, September 6th, and the crickets are working overtime out my window. But I want to talk some more about my Congresswoman Maxine Dexter's town hall from today. I'm trying to go through the questions from Maxine's constituents at the town hall today, and I'm not going to have time to get to every single one of them, but I feel like several of them are important enough to each get their own video. So the third question at the town hall was from a gentleman who stood up and first said his request was to, any service members and to the officers there, right? Because anytime a member of Congress is interacting with constituents, there's law enforcement like everywhere. So he said, please remember your oath to protect Americans from enemies foreign and domestic. And then he said, to you, Congresswoman, I want to ask you to fight for us with your leadership. He said, we know that you don't have the votes, right? Democrats are in the minority party. He said, events earlier in the year were packed, right? Town halls before. Maxine had one, was it maybe back in March, that was at Centennial High School, filled to the gills. There were like 1,800 people there or something. And the last few that I've been to, there's a lot of empty seats. So this gentleman was highlighting that and said, where are the people? Are they giving up because they don't feel that there is any leadership coming from the Democratic Party? Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries are more concerned about sternly worded letters than fighting fascism. And I am never going to forego an opportunity to hate on Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries because they could have met the moment. They could have been the leaders that we needed, but they're just not. They are absolutely doing the wrong thing. They are failing us over and over and over again. They are ill-equipped for the fight that we are in, and instead of humbling themselves and stepping aside and letting fighters come to the forefront and lead the party, they have got a death grip on their positions of power. Instead of fighting for their constituents and for democracy, they are, for whatever reason, either because, I don't know, they're just totally incapable of properly assessing what's happening. They think that it's business as usual and that voters will just get fed up and fix it in the midterms. They think that this is politics as usual. Ezra from Indivisible said, they're acting like it's 1985 politics, not 2025, and I think he's completely correct. And whether that's because they don't have what it takes or because, I don't know, maybe it's a combination. Maybe it's not either or. Maybe it's both. They're men who don't have what it takes in this moment, and they are men who are continually prioritizing corporate and foreign interest above democracy, above the lives and rights of their constituents. They are thinking about protecting their political power under a fascist regime instead of getting us out from under a fascist regime and having a functional democracy. Myself and a whole lot of other people have been calling for Chuck Schumer's resignation. He's not going to step down willingly, y'all, but you do understand that you can still, oh, thank God my neighbor's air conditioner turned off. You can still pressure your senators. Democrats in the Senate, they could call for a vote for new leadership, but they're not going to do that unless there's massive public pressure from their constituents. So think about that. If any of y'all want to organize that campaign, it's a worthy one to take up. And I think there is no better example of how Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are failing all of us than when it comes to the issue of endorsement of Zoran Mamdani. The DNC even came out and gave him their support. He is energizing, mobilizing voters. He's getting people to turn out, to get excited about politics and to have a hopeful vision for the future of this country. He's getting people to think about the kind of America that we could have and we have a right to work for. He's getting people to think about a brighter future and invest in politics. He and so many other progressive Democrats and, working families folks and DSA folks who caucus with Democrats, they are the folks who are the antidote to the apathy in the Democratic Party. Nobody wants to show up and vote for Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer's version of Democrats, right? Democrats that are seen, rightly so, as corrupt, prioritizing foreign interests like AIPAC, prioritizing corporate interests like big crypto, big oil, big healthcare, and they refuse to give up their power and step aside to save democracy. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries cannot even bring themselves to endorse the Democratic nominee for mayor of New York City. Because why? AIPAC won't let them? We're supposed to rally behind our nominees. AOC said that the other day, that Kamala Harris wouldn't have been her first pick, but as the Democratic nominee, she got behind her and supported her. That's what you do. You support the candidates in your own party. You have solidarity with them. And yet the two leaders of the Democratic Party in the Senate and the House utterly failing. And even more than that, like Hakeem Jeffries just had the smarmiest answer when a reporter asked him about this.
The DNC posted in support of Zoran Mamdani's campaign yesterday with a statement of Mamdani saying, "We welcome anyone to join this movement." You've met with him twice, and stay tuned, declined to endorse him. Are you out of step with your party on this issue?
I don't know. I guess people are going to have to figure that out. If that's the question you think that my constituents are asking me, because they're not.
I'm sorry, Minority Leader Jeffries, you expect us to believe that none of your constituents are talking to you about Zoran Mamdani. You expect us to believe that you are prioritizing your constituents, you're working for them instead of for AIPAC? You dodge this question every time it's brought up, and you have no defense for your behavior. All you're doing is turning voters off. All you're doing is undermining support for your own party while we are trying to fight fascism. You are still thinking about courting corporate donors and dark money. Okay, let's pivot back to Maxine's answer to the question. She said, your representatives work for you. She said, my job title and my job description are exactly the same, representative. She said, thank you for giving me the support I need to fight for you, right? As a representative, she needs us to say, we need you to fight more. We need you to be more aggressive, more tenacious. We need you to be doing more. Because if we're not telling her that, she's trying to take instruction from us. I know that a lot of Republicans and a lot of establishment Democrats, y'all, they think they're in a position of power over their constituents. No, they're our public servants. They work for us. And I earnestly think Maxine understands that role. And she's trying to be just that, trying to be a public servant for the people in her district. She said, I'm just going to say it bluntly. I think she means progressive Democrats, need to step into the leadership void that constituents are elevating. Constituents are coming to her and saying, where is the leadership? Schumer and Jeffries, not equipped for this moment. They're failing us. She said, right now there is a dearth of clarity of who we should be listening to. Who's actually in charge? Where is that person who is leading the Democratic Party in the right direction? She said, when it's unclear who we should be listening to and who the leaders really are, it means that, she's a freshman. It means that more junior members of Congress, those younger members, those more progressive members who have traditionally been squashed by the establishment, silenced by the establishment leadership, they feel empowered to step up and fill that void. She said, I'm trying to show up for you in the way that you need. Please let me know more. Please call. Please give me feedback. If I'm not being loud enough, tell me to be louder. I need to be loud enough for you all to have your concerns reflected. But then she went on to say something that I found extremely interesting. She said earlier this week, an influential member of the House took her aside and told her, don't wait for congressional leadership to tell you what to do. Don't wait for leadership to tell you what to do. To me, I'm just going to read a whole bunch in between the lines here. To me, that says, I think progressive members in Congress understand that their constituents are frustrated. They look at the terribly low approval ratings and they understand what's driving that. It's the perception of the leaders of the Democratic Party, be it the DNC, be it Chuck Schumer, be it Hakeem Jeffries. There is a very low level of trust, and it's beyond younger members having to rebuild trust that more senior members of the party have broken. They have to show us that they're fighters. It's beyond you can trust me. It's no, you can trust my word. And also I'm going to go to the mat for you. I'm going to do all of the things. I am going to stand up against leadership in my own party because I understand that they are failing you. They're failing all of us. And they are making it much more difficult for us to resist fascism and reclaim our democracy. I know that it's exhausting to feel like we have to fight the fascists and we also have to fight the establishment Democrats. We need leaders. If we look at historical movements that have been really successful in toppling authoritarian regimes, there are charismatic folks who are leading the movement to overthrow the authoritarians and restore a stable government. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and their strongly worded letters and their prioritization of foreign and corporate interest, they're not the charismatic leaders that we need right now. And we're seeing Zoran Mamdani, we're seeing Omar Fateh, we're seeing all kinds of folks who are now running for Congress, Senate, and House who've never gotten into politics before, who are trying to come to the forefront. And I think that there will be new leaders that come forward. They got to pick up the pace. And we need more of our reps in Congress to not feel constrained and suppressed by leadership, but to feel emboldened by their constituents to stand up against them.